My one friend who had introduced me to all the people in Salt Lake, he had already gone to prison for something else. I can't remember what it was. I went up there one night, and he ended up the warehouse out in West Valley that he had previously cooked meth at. He wasn't doing it at that point in time, but the DEA had information that he was, and so they ended up raiding the warehouse, and I showed up in the middle of their raid, and so they grabbed me out of my car and dragged me inside, questioned everybody one by one, and when they questioned me, he said, "I know that you've been buying iodine and giving it to this guy, and you know, so you might as well." And I was thinking to myself, who's telling these guys what is going on? Somebody here just told them, because I wasn't the first one to be questioned. What I didn't know at the time was that the DEA gets the records from chemical stores and horse feed stores where you can buy iodine every week. They return their records because you have to provide a driver's license. At least at the time, you had to provide an ID, a thumbprint, and sign for it when you bought it. And I was, I was young, on drugs, didn't really think much of it. I was like, well, if they sell it to me, it's not illegal, right? They charged me with possession of a List 2 chemical with the intent to manufacture a controlled substance, which is iodine. So, ended up going to jail on a federal detainer. You don't get out unless the judge lets you out. It actually ended up being a really good thing for me, because if they had let me out, I would have just got myself into more trouble. I was sitting in Weber County Jail with a bunch of other people who were there on federal holds, and all these people started, coming back from court with sentences, and some of them were coming back with 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, life sentences for doing the same types of things that I was doing, that I hadn't been caught for. And so I had been basically drug into somebody else's problem, because, it really wasn't my meth lab. I was just, it was kind of my problem, but not really. But getting drug into that problem ended up being a huge blessing in my life. And so seeing all that I was like, oh geez, I was really playing with fire. I didn't realize quite how much fire I was playing with. And I remember my lawyer, the first time I had a conversation with her, she told me, yeah, the best case scenario is probably like 8 or 9 years. And so I was 23 at that time. I just had my 23rd birthday. And for somebody who's 23 to hear 8 or 9 years is pretty tough to swallow. And I was like, are you serious? I didn't kill anybody. And she said, yeah, depending on the circumstances, you might have been better off had you killed somebody. And I'm like, that's not right. And she goes, no, it's not, but that's how it is. Because of my criminal history, I couldn't really get that good of a deal. The statutory max on the charge was 10 years. Well, 23, 30, good time. The feds have a drug program that you can get a year off for. I was like, well, I guess 7 or 8 years is better than 16. So that's what I went to federal prison for. And then kind of how I have this horrendous criminal history without ever having been to the state prison, because I was given all these chances, and I racked up so many charges in such a short time frame. They were in the middle of giving me chances, and then the feds grabbed me.